guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Gabriel and today we're going to be answering some questions from the internet. The first question is, looking for tips on toilet training. We have adopted Betty, a French bulldog, rescue dog. She has no house training at all, so she's just walking around using the floor as her potty. I'm taking her outside as soon as I realize she needs to go. Where do I start? Well, the first thing to know is that when dogs move to new environments, it's very common potty accidents. Potty accidents are very common to occur. So what I would do here is put the dog in a daily routine, in a daily schedule. And what I mean by this is that every time, the first thing after the dog wakes up, take the dog outside. When the dog does his or her business, the dog is allowed some free time in the house, supervised. But if the dog doesn't go to a bathroom in those 5 to 10, 15 minutes, whatever time you give them, you put them back into their X-pen or kennel. No free time. No free time with you, no playing time, nothing. You put them back into the kennel for 10 to 15 minutes and then repeat the process. What you want to teach your dog is that if he or she doesn't go to the bathroom, she has no playtime. She has no free time with you. Then if she goes to the bathroom, you have the free time, you have a 30 to 1 hour to play with, and then she goes back to her kennel, let her rest, and repeat the process. You just want to put her in a schedule so she understands that, oh, okay, so every time I go out, I can go to a bathroom. And then she's going to start understanding that, okay, going out means I have to go to a bathroom. Also, another way to avoid accidents in the house is put a leash on your dog. You should, and keep your dog near you. The reason is because dogs don't like to go to the bathroom when you're near them. So if you have a leash on your dog, and the leash is, you can step on the leash when you're cooking, but give enough freedom to your dog to roam around, sniff. But if your dog is close to you, more than likely he will not go to a bathroom near you. And if he does, you have enough time to grab the leash and rapidly take him outside. The second question is about food aggression. And the question says that he has a very well socialized dog, outgoing, obedient, but her one hole is food aggression. She's not food aggression with people, only dogs. She will attack another dog over a piece of food, but she won't do it immediately. She will show some body language and then she will snap. And she's constantly looking for something to eat on the ground, inside and outside. And without any food around, she loves to play with other dogs. Any advice on how to overcome this? Well, food aggression, the first thing to understand from it is that it's very common between dogs. Actually, resource guarding is very common between dogs. That is usually when a dog guards a resource that they need to survive. And they think that the other dog is going to steal it from them, so they are guarding it. But that's a very common behavior between dogs. You cannot solve it, you can manage it. What you want to do is making sure that there's nothing around that she might want to guard from other dogs. And if there's nothing to guard, she will be playing with other dogs instead. She will be focused on playing. So I would do that. And also, I wouldn't take your dog to dog parks or daycares because usually there's a lot of toys, balls, and food that people give just because they like to play with dogs and interact with them. So I would I wouldn't bring your dog near them because that would make her prone to attack other dogs. But besides that, clearly you have a very obedient dog, and just make sure that there's nothing that she might want to guard while she's playing with other dogs. Make sure you have a group of friends that are able to meet up, play together, and making sure there's nothing on the floor she might want to guard. The third question is, hello guys, I'm trying to find ways to stop my pit bull mix from reacting to dogs when outside. I just moved into a new home and don't want her to start a show in public. Her name is Karma and she's my first big dog. Send any effective videos or information that can help me learn to train her. So the first thing I would do with a dog that is reactive or gets excited when she sees other dogs is start indoors with an exercise named focus or watch, which is you say the dog's name and every time your dog looks at you, you're gonna say yes and treat. And what you're doing is building value to your face. You're teaching her that every time she looks at you, she's gonna get something that she likes. By doing that, you become more interesting than her surroundings. When you feel that your dog is responsive to her name, and you feel that she's gonna check up on you every time you go out for a walk, you want to take it outside. And the first moment she looks up, you want to praise that moment. You want to capture it and treat her. You can say good girl and everything. And every time she looks up, you want to give her something. Because you're teaching her that, okay, so if I look up to my dad, I'm going to get something that I want. So she will be more focused on looking at you than on the other dog. Now, if your dog is fixated on another dog and starts barking and lunging towards it, just grab your leash and start moving the other way, or continue your walk. Because in that moment your dog is over threshold, which means that your dog cannot hear you physically. It's very focused on the other dog. So what you want to do, continue moving. Don't even try to get your dog's attention at that point. The third question is, we have a 9-week-old puppy that tends to nip at our legs and clothing. It hurts. Any suggestion how to stop him from doing this? If you have a 9-week-old dog and he starts nipping on your clothes, probably he's teething, and this is a very common behavior on young dogs and puppies, but it's not acceptable that bites on your clothes or on your hands, fingers, or feet. What you want to do is, the moment he starts biting you or nipping on you, you want to redirect his focus. Grab a toy that he likes or something that he likes to get his focus and let him play with it. But if he still goes towards your hands, clothes, shoes, you want to put him back into the kennel. Put him in a timeout. Timeout for 2 to 5 minutes. A short timeout. You want to teach him that for every time he bites you, he's going up. His time with you is up. And the reason is because you're the most valuable reward for him. So if you take yourself away from the situation, he's gonna be like, oh, okay, so if I bite her, I'm gonna end up here. So that's the main thing. Stop in the interaction, just put him up, and then he's slowly gonna learn that, okay, if I bite, I won't get what I want, which is mom's or dad's attention. The fifth question is about a 7-year-old Staffy Lab cross. She was always good with other dogs and people, either ignore them or sniff them, and usually carry on walking or stayed and enjoyed attention from people. Then they went away for a couple nights. The dog stayed with some family members, and when they got back, the dog is reactive to other dogs and sometimes to older men. And they thought it was anxiety and she was being overprotective because we've been away, but the behavior continued. We're taking her to the vet and it's not due to pain or anything. So what I would do first is ask the shelter for the background of the dog. I want to know why the dog was abandoned and seeing if it's a behavior issue. If it's a behavior issue, obviously I would hire a trainer, a dog trainer, and help me with the problem. But also would want to know is if the owners are letting their dog approach nose to nose other dogs. A lot of people believe that it's okay to let dogs approach nose to nose, but actually it's not. That's how most of the fight starts. It's only takes 3 seconds for a dog to decide if he wants to fight with other dog or not. I would want to know if they are doing that. And with the older men, I would want to know if they're strangers or friends. And if they're strangers, I probably would say that the dog doesn't like new people, no strangers, doesn't like strangers. And it's common in old dogs to have low tolerance towards new experiences, activities, or anything like that. Some dogs usually want to be left alone. Older dogs just want to chill. So I want to know if the older men are strangers or not. But with the information she just gave us, it's not enough to know what's going on with the dog. Just by saying that the dog is a bit reactive, I want to know if the dog is lunging and barking towards other dogs every time she sees a dog. But if that's not the case, more than likely the dog has a low tolerance towards new dogs as well. Some older dogs just want to be left alone, and it's very common as the dog gets older and older and older. What I would do in this case is making sure that it's actually reactivity towards other dogs and people. but in my opinion, it doesn't look like it. It looks more like the dog doesn't like strangers and new dogs. It looks like she wants to be left alone and be happy with the family she knows and she has a trust with, a bond with. The sixth question is, I have a pit husky mix, he's chipped, 3-month old, and at his last appointment he weighed 20.5 pounds. I'm trying to train him, but he's very hyper. I also need help training him, or at least tips, obedience, and regular training first, but I plan on training him to be a service dog for depression and anxiety as well. Can anyone help? So if you have a hyper dog, that's the dog that every trainer wants. They want a very dog that has a high drive, work ethic, and enjoys working. But if you have a husky, that's kind of interesting because huskies are known for being impatient and stubborn. So you want to make sure that your dog does enjoy working with you, because some dogs just like the training part because they are interacting with you, but they don't have a good work ethic. So you want to make sure that your dog has good work ethic, and especially if you want to make him a service dog, you want to make sure that he enjoys working, because there's a lot of dogs even that are sometimes driven, but they don't have a good work ethic. They're just lazy and stubborn, and they don't want to do whatever they don't want to do whatever is related to basic obedience. If your dog is very hyper and it's hard for you to handle him, what I would recommend is go to a dog daycare or a place where your dog can play with other dogs, so he can be tired out and it's easier for you to train him and just handle him in general. Just by tiring him out physically, it's much easier for you to handle him and to train him. By doing that, you might have a higher chance to make your dog into a service dog. The chance of having a dog to become a service dog is very, very hard. Not all dogs can make it, even if you think just because they are very hyper, it's not as easy as you think. They require a lot of hours of training to become a well service dog for depression and anxiety. The last question that we're going to answer is, I have two dogs, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm very concerned about walking them. They are starting a habit of peeing in the same exact spot in the house every time, every day. We have sprayed all types of spray there. We redirect them every time they sniff that place, but we are stuck and do not know what to do. Help. What I would do with these two dogs is put them on a schedule. Every time they wake up, they go outside to a bathroom, 10 to 15 minutes, come back inside. If they went to a bathroom, those 10 to 15 minutes, they have free time. If they didn't want, they go back to their kennel. And I will do that until they figure out that, oh, okay, so when I go outside, it's my time to go to a bathroom. If I don't go to a bathroom, I'm gonna go back to the kennel. So you want to teach that until they figure out the routine. And then when they have gained your trust, you can just keep them out of the kennel or whatever you want to do, and just make sure that they understand that every time they go outside, they have to use the bathroom. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed until the end, I would really appreciate if you show your support by liking the video, commenting the video, and sharing it with friends. And see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.